welcome to your energy reading for the week of April 28th. My name is Wendy Gerhart, and every single week I post the week's energy, ascension energy update, reading, forecast, whatever it is you want to call it. Know that everything is coming through me from the highest, from source energy. And this week, it feels like I keep seeing threads as though we're having this sort of like sacred unspooling, sacred unfolding, this sort of just like weaver type of energy coming in. So note that every week I also do over on Instagram, I do the frequency. Okay. So I have an entire, I call it a cosmic story, and I transmit the energy through a frequency, through sort of a metaphorical energy type of cosmic story. So if you watch this or any of my energy updates and you then want to go receive sort of the energy, the frequency activation, hop over to my Instagram at I am Wendy Gerhart and check that out every single week. Sometimes it comes out, this energy report comes out on YouTube, and then the frequency report or the cosmic story will come out hours later. So if you hop over there and you don't see it, just wait, come back in, a couple hours or the next day and it'll be there. Okay, so this week we are starting off with, we have the Five of Swords. This is really interesting. So Five of Swords, again, five, so a lot of change energy, but this kind of plays into that sort of like this unthreading of deception. You see here we have this gentleman here, this I do feel like this is a masculine energy. And he's collecting swords. It's sort of like after the fight. It is an unthreading of deception, of miscommunication. I'm feeling a lot in the throat right now. Manipulation. Okay. This manipulation, these ideas, this sort of false light energy that has trapped us in loops, sort of pursuing a false light is what it feels like. So believing it is this way. And in fact, that was what it feels like, is almost an unraveling of time, walking back through time, the way things have been, feeling like, for example, in religion, right, where there was this time period where there was this massive movement into the Catholic or the Christianity after, the priests and all of this in Europe, in Rome, and even in Egypt, right? Even in Egypt, there became this conversion to Christianity. It's no longer the main religion there, but it was at a certain period of time. And so it was this manipulation of the light, manipulation of belief systems, manipulating for a sense of power, a sense of wealth, a sense of hierarchy, false god type of energy that has been coming in. This is very much related to this Five of Swords, often being like a betrayal or mind games. So again, coming back into the mental, which feels sort of this masculine. Here's the other piece of this, though. This doesn't just speak to conflict, but it also speaks to liberation. Okay, so this is sort of that moment where the fog, and we've had fog last week, and I think the week before that as well, and the symbology of the fog changed from one week to the next, but this feels like the moment when the fog lifts. This is sort of that moment when you can reclaim what was yours all along. So this represents a lot of clarity, a lot of sovereignty, and this is coupled here. We have summer, bask in your joy and light. Interestingly, here we have the bee with the pentagon, again, the five energy coming in, and we have the hummingbird. We've had the hummingbird recently as well. This is number 22. So again, referring to the divine architect. So, okay. Master architect, this 22 here, it reminds us that as these systems, and this does feel like a system, an outdated template, an old timeline, an old earth kind of energy, wounded, victimized, masculine energy. And it kind of feels like as these systems fall away, it is a reminder of bringing you back into the idea that like you are the architect of the new. Okay. It's the hummingbird is associated with in shamanic traditions, it's associated with the energy of the north. And the hummingbird always drinks, if you can see this flower, it always drinks from the deepest part of the flowers of the flower. And so when we're talking about the flower, we're also talking about the flower of life. So drink deeply from I'm hearing the flowers of truth, choosing our next steps from that energy, from joy, right? Not from the wounding, not from wounding. And this is something that is perhaps related to this Five of Swords, right? Making decisions out of this trying, this hustle, this forcing, this confused sort of energy. And it's a victim type of energy, as opposed to making decisions or moving forward from what feels like wounding, do it from radical joy, right? Joy and light, from radical joy, from wholeness. This is a flip in frequency. Oh, I got a lot of chills there. A flip in frequency. There's an invitation here. Okay. There lies an invitation to hold the duality, to honor what hurt you, what has been, the ways you feel like you have been wronged, the systems that you feel like have brought in hardship, pain, suffering, financial loss, lost opportunities. It feels like all of the things, right, that have created the wounding, that have created the anger, the frustration, the this isn't right kind of energy. So hold it, but don't let it define you. Okay? Don't let it be the reason that says, I'm not safe. Let it be the reason to say, I'm going to create the safety. Don't let it hold you back and say it's not safe to use my voice or be a leader. Say, use it as the evidence to show the world needs my voice. The world needs my leadership. Okay? But not from I was wronged, from this is what I stand for. Not from I was taken advantage of, from this is how I move. Okay? So I want you to kind of hopefully begin to see that sort of new invitation coming in for you. And then we have summer. I want to talk about this, the summer card. This feels like summer solstice kind of energy, which is in June. I think it's around the 21st of June. That date I may have a little bit wrong. But it's kind of like I'm hearing roots. Um, this imagery is rooting the energy deeper. So we're talking about the bee. Again, this is like the old hive, the old collective structures, the distortions around safety are dissolving. Okay. Summer solstice is going to heighten this new energy, this new shift. The transition is cellular. Okay. It is cellular. The transition is cellular. And the body always knows before the mind catches up. When we talk about honey, right? This golden honey, this sweetness, this nectar of life. Um, this is sort of that joy, okay? Building from the joy, building for the creation, the sweetness, the joy, the lightness, that it's like a new sustainable community is the reward for those willing to recalibrate to a higher, less familiar. There's going to be some change coming in. It's not going to feel familiar. It's going to actually feel like completely new. Like, I don't know how, like, wait, what? I don't know how that where's the template for this? Um, and yet it's a more natural frequency, kind of like using honey as a sweetener, right? Versus the artificial or the processed or the all the million ways that people say, use this, use this, use this, use this. It's like, let me just go back to the source, to the natural, to the what is created naturally, the honey of life, of and use that as a metaphor in a lot of different ways, because that feels like very, 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 very pertinent. Okay. This is coupled with now we've got the Seven of Swords energy, still a little bit more of this like this one feels like he's carrying a lot of swords. Falsities, old beliefs, old again, this sort of like false information distortion, but this feels like around proof. Let me show you. Like imagine this is a vendor carrying all of their proof. Look at all of my proof. Buy from me because I'm carrying, look at my proof of what I have created. Now, here's the thing. Just because they're showing you this doesn't mean this is actually theirs. That doesn't necessarily mean it's true. And proof, logic, pseudo sort of spiritual bypassing kind of energy feels like what's falling away because it's not the new way. Can I promise you, and this feels like I need to say this, can I promise you that as this spiral continues, that perhaps we don't see a year, 2 years, 5 years from now, that this new way that we're leading ourselves into also isn't distortion. No, but we know we're meant to go through it. We know this is the way that we are moving, that we are moving away from using the logic, the proof, the reasoning, the old way of being, of purchasing, of moving, of making decisions in exchange for frequency, in exchange for being in the energy and allowing your intuition to guide you on what is the correct path for you, which may not be the same correct path for any other person. And this is why we don't want to use logic and reasoning, because logic and reasoning would show us that we all need to go the same path. And yet, that is not true. That is a distortion. That is a belief that in many ways we are all the same. And while we come from one, we are fractals of the one. We all are playing our own individual game, which means we have our own individual rules, which means we have our own individual journey, our own individual outcome. How can it all be the same? It isn't. So it's learning to discern and to move in new ways that are going to go against the old systems. False strategies, outdated masculine paradigms are collapsing. Okay, this is coupled with spring, summer, spring. Interesting. Your seeds, see your seeds grow, and we have a rabbit here, so perhaps some really fast momentum. And then we have the water spirit coming in. So emotions, manifesting your dreams. We have a beaver energy of the 46. We have the forest, we have the water, we have the beaver, we have the trees, water spirit. Okay. The spring card, this one here, and the energy of the rabbit, it feels like it does kind of like affirm that things are clearing up, and as the illusions dissolve, there's going to be some swift movement. Growth no longer being delayed, opportunities are going to start to sprout very quickly, again, coupled with right manifesting our dreams. But here's the big thing that I want to reiterate is it's for those who trust their body's intelligence over their mind's conditioning. For those who trust their body's intelligence over their mind's conditioning. Here, okay? Now the water spirit, the energy of the 46, which is overall a 10, royal masculine divine energy. This sort of mirroring the manifestation flows naturally now when rooted in trust and organic momentum. Again, this bringing in this natural. We're coming back into a natural frequency, a natural flow. This is not force. This is not proving. This is not this trying, this hard, this hustle. It is like, okay, you're being asked to really start to walk in the new template. No more are you trying to learn, download, activate. It's like now you move. Like this is who you are. So the beaver in this card, right, kind of reminds us to build with the current, to create with the current, not against it. create with the flow, not against it. Okay. Next, we have the death reversed. Death reversed. So this week with the shift, and not only the new moon in Taurus, but again, we had, Mars conjuncting. I'm probably going to say this incorrectly because for some odd reason my mind just scrambled, like they don't even want me to talk about that. Just know, so I won't talk it to the astrology. I don't know why, but it was like, nope. The 13th spiral. Okay, so we've been talking about completion, 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 completion the last couple of weeks, starting a new journey. And so this new journey is into the 13th energy, the 13th spiral, because we've been moving in spirals. Okay, so this death card reversed, it's sort of this powerful 13th spiral transformation. The reversal does suggest, and we had this reversed within the last week or two as well, some stagnation, some resistance, some holding on to the old template, perhaps some relationships that still holding on to that need to go. So clinging on to this sort of like old relationship templates or stagnant spaces. So remaining in places. This could be physically, like in a home. This could be in a job. This could be in a relationship. I mean, like basically staying in the energy that you've already outgrown. Okay. But the spiral is saying it will not be denied. Okay. It will not be denied. This is coupled with the stag card, trust and thrive. And then we have rainbow waterfall energy, and we've got a butterfly here. Actually, we've got a couple butterflies. We have the rainbow, and again, the stag card here. So when we couple all of these together, it's like the stag card always brings me back to leadership. This feels like self-leadership. This also is what I talked about at the beginning, where I said, don't use this as evidence to say I'm not safe to show up. Use it as evidence the world needs me. I am needed. What I have to say matters, especially if you have made this shift out of victim into power, out of victim into sovereignty. If you're ready to let go of the wound, take the lesson and transform it back into its natural essence, into its natural truth. The world needs your voice. So true leadership is allowing the old to fall away, grieving it if needed. We're not bypassing, we're grieving it, but it's not allowing the grief to become the stagnation. It's not allowing the grief to become the filter through which you see. It's not allowing the wound to confiscate your voice. It's not allowing the perceived betrayal, the perceived manipulation, the perceived false light energy to be the lens through which you project your voice. It is seeing that is not what the world needs. That's not who I am or what I want to be associated with, and using it to fuel your power, your truth, your energy, your frequency in the direction of what would bring yourself and those in your energy and your force field higher. It's standing for something higher, for a platform, for a boundary, for a standard, becoming the standard that says this is where I am. I see all of that. I have experienced all of that. And that has brought me to this choice. And with this choice, this is what I choose. That is leadership. Leadership is not saying, look at all of that, see all of that. I was wounded because of that. That is the problem. No, you say that exists, and now I exist differently. Okay? This is what it feels like. It's really trying to bring us in. The waterfall, again, we talked about this, I feel like last week. There's going to be some turbulence. There's going to be some emotions, as you know, the water doesn't know where it's going. It just knows it's moving, and then all of a sudden it's like, I can only imagine being water in a waterfall, but imagine you're falling over a waterfall. The calm and the transformation await. The butterfly codes ripple are rippling through the field, not just in quiet stillness, but in rushing waters and emotional movement. Turbulence is not a failure, it is evolution in motion. Finally, we have the sun card here that is coupled with the drum. Feels like a new template, a new heartbeat, a new rhythm. And then we have the earth spirit stability, which she has also been showing up for us quite a bit. So with the emergence of the sun, this feels like really like a return to the light, right? A full return to the self, to the joy that we talked about, to the natural, the true inner sovereign within. Not necessarily a reclaiming, like a full rebirth. That's what this feels like a full rebirth. And then we have the drum card, right? Which is like calling you, like I said, to a new heartbeat, one that you set for yourself. This is no longer given to you. You are setting it in harmony with Earth's own shifting rhythms. Okay. And then coupled, I mean, proud perfect to couple it with the Earth spirit, which is like the stability and the anchoring, affirms that the new world is not only ethereal, it's tangible. It is not just feminine, it is masculine. It is being able to hold duality and then choosing. It is not in the absence of duality. It is not in the absence of false light. It is not in the absence of the spirals. It is not in the absence of what we perceive to be wrong. It is seeing clearly, holding with great capacity, and then choosing. And then choosing. So a new foundation really being laid beneath your feet, sort of weaving this knowing that you're no longer chasing the light. You're no longer going to be going with the flow based off of what other people tell you the flow is. It's no longer seeking truth externally. It's recognizing you are the architect of this new earth. You are the light. You are the architect of the new, of all of the new. And so can you step into this? Can you own this? Can you walk with it and allow it to create momentum, fast movement, to hold that, to trust, to do it through trust, to do it through safety, and to really embody this new frequency? Okay, that is the energy for the week of April 28th. Below, you will find the information from my Instagram if you want to go check out this week's cosmic story, as well as I have a free quiz below. It is my wealth archetype quiz. Wealth, by all means, is something that is here to be recoded within Earth, within each individual person. And so I'm really helping to bring you back to your natural, unique, resonant frequency that is not, right, perhaps in a way that you have ever heard it before. And I'm really excited to start laying the groundwork for how we're going to shift wealth within each person who is really ready to embody the new frequency. So you can click below, you can take that quiz, find out your individual unique archetype. That is really just the foundation. It is just the very beginning, but will already begin to create activations and shifts within you. All right, if you got value out of this, please give it a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe and share it with anyone you feel like this would be helpful with. And I will see you on next week's energy update.